Thanks, Sophie. Good evening to you. Coming up on BBC London. The Met chief says there are more arrests to come for violent disorder after Saturday's rally organised by far-right activists.
We reckon there's going to be about 50 more arrests for violent disorder. Of course, we've got CCTV in Whitehall. We have evidence gatherers out there with cameras working with our officers. So through a combination of that, they will get arrested and they will get their just desserts.
Also on the programme.
Hi, there's Camilla. There's the King.
The King and Queen arrive at Windsor Castle ahead of President Trump's historic second UK state visit. We'll be live in the royal town with the latest. Plus, is there a postcode lottery for patients in London trying to access weight loss drugs? And Molly the Cockapoo bringing joy and comfort to hospital patients, who's up for a BBC Make a Difference award. Hello and a very warm welcome to the programme. We start tonight with the head of the Metropolitan Police saying he expects up to 50 more people to be arrested for violent offences after Saturday's march through central London, which was organised by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson. Sir Mark Rowley said these would follow the 24 arrests already made after some officers were injured. He was also asked today why the force hadn't used live facial recognition technology at the rally. Here's our political editor, Carl Mercer.
This was central London on Saturday, at least one side of the Unite the Kingdom march. This was the other side of it, as groups of marchers clashed with police, injuring 26 officers. Police arrested 24 people at the weekend. The Commissioner today promised many more would follow.
We reckon there's going to be about 50 more arrests for violent disorder as we sweep people up based on the video evidence. And of course, we've got CCTV in Whitehall. We have evidence gatherers out there with cameras working with our officers. So through a combination of that, they will get arrested and they will get their just desserts. Just it isn't always possible in the middle of a pitched battle to do that, however preferable that would be.
There was this too from the Mayor as he chaired London's policing board meeting this morning.
Met officers once again put themselves on the line to keep Londoners safe and facilitate the right to protest. I want to say thank you to all those involved for their work and to offer my heartfelt thoughts to those that were injured in the line of duty. I know that policing protest, especially of the sort we saw this weekend, is complex and places huge demand on the Met. I was shocked by the violence officers faced, and I've been clear that it's completely unacceptable.
The meeting also heard the Met questioned about why it hadn't used live facial recognition cameras for the weekend's march. It had been used 3 weeks before at Notting Hill Carnival, when 2 vans were deployed and 61 arrests were made using it, including known violent and sex offenders. It's never been used before at protests.
I don't rule it out for the future, but we need to be really careful, I think, in terms of the sort of proportionality, because it brings in extra human rights considerations in terms of people's freedom of speech. And the intelligence picture at the weekend that we had before the event didn't justify that.
Tomorrow, of course, the Met face another big challenge with a planned march in central London to protest against the visit of US President Donald Trump. Carl Mercer, BBC London.
Well, on that note of President Trump's state visit, preparations are underway in Windsor, of course, where he and the First Lady will spend the day tomorrow with the King and Queen. We can join our diplomatic correspondent, James Landale, who's in Windsor this evening. Good evening, James. How significant is this?
Look, I think this is a big deal. It's unprecedented for any US president to get a second state visit like this, and it is clearly a demonstration by the British government that they want to throw the royal kitchen sink at this relationship. Essentially, the whole exercise, the whole purpose of this visit is for the UK to try and cement their relationship with what is at the moment, at times, an unpredictable ally. So that's why the president has been given the full works here at Windsor tomorrow. Parades, bands, fly-pasts, everything they can possibly do. It's going to be one of the bigger state visit parades that we've ever seen before, all designed to impress a president who we know likes this kind of stuff. Then after that, it all moves on to a little bit more business, focus on a new tech partnership when the discussions move to Czech as the Prime Minister's country residence. But it's one of those things where you don't always get that many chances to have a word in edgeways with this president, and I think any head of government wants to have a chance to bend his ear about the things that matter, whether it is about reducing tariffs that are having an impact on our economy or talking about big issues such as the war in Ukraine.
OK, James, in Windsor there, many thanks. That's James Landale, our diplomatic correspondent. Meanwhile, this evening, also in Windsor, a small crowd of people have marched along the high street to express their objection to Donald Trump's impending arrival. Thanks for being with us on BBC London. Lots more ahead, including...
Europa League winners Tottenham are back in the Champions League. Arsenal and Chelsea too start their quest to reach next May's final in Budapest.
As we've been hearing this hour, a long-awaited Hillsborough law is to be introduced, forcing public officials to tell the truth during investigations into major disasters. It's been welcomed by bereaved families and survivors of the Grenfell fire. Well, our reporter Aisha Baksh joins me. Hi, Aisha. Just explain how this affects Grenfell.
Well, today, Riz, the Prime Minister mentioned Grenfell when announcing what's officially been called the Public Office Accountability Bill. And that's because during the Grenfell public inquiry, bereaved families, survivors and local residents sat through countless public officials telling the inquiry that they did not recall or did not remember certain events, conversations or decisions about the tower. And the inquiry concluded that there was indeed a lack of accountability and transparency and said it was a web of blame. Now, earlier I spoke to Natasha Elcock, who is a survivor of the fire. She also lost her uncle, sadly, during the tragedy. And I asked her how she felt about this new bill and also what she and others experienced during the public inquiry.
By not giving us the truth, by withholding the truth, by pretending, sitting there saying they don't recall. We saw it time and time again in our own inquiry. You see it time and time in the COVID inquiry. They remember what they remember and they fight against and then they don't recall. Today is an absolute moment in history, but it's not over. It's not guaranteed. This has still got to work its way through Parliament. There will be pushbacks. There will be people's attempts to water it down.
So, Aisha, what happens next?
Well, the Prime Minister has said that this bill will not be watered down. He made a commitment to the families and he said no one should suffer the injustices that they have. I mean, Natasha, along with others from Grenfell United, I have seen countless times come together on the anniversary. They have done silent walks through the streets of West London, and they've also joined up with other campaigners from Windrush, from Infected Blood and from the COVID inquiry. So all of those campaigns will be putting the pressure on to make sure it's not watered down. As for Grenfell, the investigation we know is still ongoing from the Met. Charges for that will be expected to be announced at the end of 2026. So that's next year.
OK, Aisha, with the latest there. Thank you. That's Aisha Baksh. We're going to go back to Windsor now because we mentioned there's a small protest taking place there this evening. Let's go to Steve Humphrey, who's on Windsor High Street. Tell us more, Steve.
Yeah, what a day here in Windsor. Lots of preparations for the visit by Donald Trump. And here this evening, in fact, there is a big demonstration by members of the Stop Trump Coalition. So as you can see, quite a sizable police presence here. Everything nice and calm at the moment. And just a little while ago, I had a conversation with some of the people who are taking part in the demonstration.
If he can have a successful meeting now with the King and the Queen, and we can have maybe world peace, put some pressure on Mr. Putin, invite him over for tea and cakes, like a bit of Victoria sponge, and have all these poor people in Gaza stop being bombed in Ukraine, and ask him, listen, is there anything else you can do with your time?
Well, in fact, I think that, in fact, was one of the supporters of the Make America Great Again organisation, who were also on the streets here in Windsor earlier on today. As I said, lots of preparations going on. President Trump is due to arrive here in Windsor tomorrow morning. There is a carriage drive along the Long Walk, as we understand it. He's then welcomed into the castle by the King and the Queen, who are in residence at the moment, because we can see the Royal Standard is fluttering over the castle. He'll also have a state banquet, and he'll be inspecting British troops. But as far as we know at the moment, because of the big security barriers, the big fences which are in place, and also those very thick ancient castle walls, ordinary members of the public will not be able to see President Trump in the flesh, as far as we understand it. And I think that really underlines the extent of the security concerns around this very brief state visit by Donald Trump. For now, back to you.
OK, Steve, in Windsor, thank you very much. And just to say apologies if you saw any choice language on any of the placards there. Let me bring you a roundup of some of the day's other news stories. A teenager who sexually assaulted 4 women over 3 days on tube trains and at underground stations has been jailed. Hadi Al-Kumi, now aged 18, was sentenced to 4 years and 8 months in prison. He'll remain under supervision for a further 3 years after release. The court also recommended him for deportation. And Sky is planning to cut 600 UK jobs as it looks to focus on its streaming services. The media company, which has a large operation in Osterley in West London, has launched a consultation on proposed changes. Now to a young Londoner who wants to raise awareness of a blood condition that she was diagnosed with when she was just 4. Sickle cell disease, which disproportionately affects Black and Asian communities, can cause extreme pain and sometimes be fatal. The 13-year-old has written a book to help others, and our reporter Gem O'Reilly was at the launch at a school in Brixton.
Seeing her own story told in a children's book means the world to Angel. She was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia at birth and is the inspiration for a new book to encourage others to donate blood.
I'm feeling really proud and excited because, like, it's me in a book, and it's just, I don't know, I'm really proud.
We need more of the younger generation talking about their experiences living with a chronic condition like sickle cell, and also just to have a fresh outlook on what it's like to live with it, so that she's able to carry the torch when it comes to awareness.
London has the highest concentration of people living with sickle cell disease in the UK, with more than 3,800 people living with it in South London alone. A blood donation centre in Brixton opened less than a year ago, with the aim to get more people coming forward to give blood.
These people, they live with us, they are in our communities, we go to church with them, we school with them, and we don't know what they go through. And for them to live a normal life, we have to give to them. We have to give them our blood for them to live like us.
The book, My Blood, Your Blood, was commissioned by NHS Blood and Transplant to break down stigmas around the disease and encourage conversation.
I met with Angel, Kenny and their family, and I spent half a day with them just listening to Angel share her story, and it was super emotive.
It's so important to be able to provide a lens and a mirror for young people, because especially those from the global majority community, because we just don't have it.
I hope they get inspired and really intrigued to learn more about blood disorders.
Gem O'Reilly, BBC London.
Still to come before 7, you don't want to miss Molly.
Yeah, it's been really boring in here.
Oh, well, I hope Molly's brightened your day.
Yeah, she really has, thank you.
Bringing joy and smiles to hospital patients, we meet Molly the Cockapoo, nominated for an award. Is there a postcode lottery for patients in London trying to access weight loss drugs? Doctors and pharmacists in the capital think so, warning of severe inequality. Criteria for the medication on the NHS is very strict, with some areas requiring patients having to have a diagnosis of diseases such as type 2 diabetes and a higher body mass index. Anna O'Neill has more.
Available online and in pharmacies, it can seem like weight loss jabs are everywhere, except if you're trying to get them on the NHS. For the moment, you're unlikely to get Mounjaro or Wegovy from the GP unless you have a very specific health condition, such as type 2 diabetes.
The focus is very much on the diabetes. Obviously, now we have weight management medication for patients who meet the 4 out of the 5 criteria and have an appropriate BMI. Then it means that we will be, potentially expanding the use of weight loss medication to the wider community outside of diabetes.
The 5 criteria currently are dyslipidemia, abnormal fat levels in the blood, hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. The fact that this isn't available on the NHS has left some health specialists feeling there is a lack of fairness for patients across London.
I think the lack of consistency across London and probably across England and the UK is the sort of experience that is reported back by colleagues and by patients. So there is a considerable postcode lottery.
Some private patients are worried about the cost and what will happen when they can't pay, as Radio London callers told us this morning.
We have been just using one pen and splitting it between the two of us. She was on it first and lost a lot of weight. I went on it, but we just couldn't afford for both of us to be paying it.
It would be going back up in weight and maybe having more health issues. I already have some health issues, so I think, going back up in weight and having more health issues would be the risk.
It's going to be difficult to see how we can just roll this out without careful consideration about the skill mix and the team that we need available to support our patients. So our dietitians, our GPs, our psychologists, so that we can support patients to not only lose the weight, but maintain that weight loss.
Anna O'Neill, BBC London.
And just to say, you can find more on this story on the BBC London website, of course. And if getting access to weight loss jabs is something that's affected you or maybe someone you know, and you're happy to share your story, then please do get in touch. Always keen to hear from you. The email address, as you can see there, hello bbclondon@bbc.co.uk. OK, to football now, and the new season of the Champions League is underway. Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham are all involved this season. Spurs kick off their campaign, in fact, in, just over an hour's time at home. What chance is there of a London team going all the way to the final? Let's ask our sports reporter, Chris Legg. No pressure there, Chris. Hiya.
Yeah, Riz, this is the only trophy in Europe a London club didn't win last season. Arsenal did come pretty close. They made it to the semi-finals and they look set to have a decent chance of going deep into the competition. Again, they're in action right now, in fact, in Spain against Athletic Bilbao. For those who want the very latest, it's live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Chelsea, who won the Conference League last season and the Club World Cup in the summer, are away to Harry Kane's Bayern Munich tomorrow. And Tottenham, who won the Europa League, back in the Champions League for the first time in 2.5 years. A real feel-good factor around the place because it's the first home match since the unpopular chairman Daniel Levy stood down. And the new manager, Thomas Frank, has got the team playing really well. They've won 3 of the first 4 Premier League games. And this is a big night for him because he has worked his way up through the levels in football. He joined from Brentford in the summer, and this is his very first match in charge of a Champions League game. And he sounds almost as excited as the Tottenham fans.
We're playing in one of the best stadiums in the world, if maybe the best, again, in front of our fantastic fans. It's European night. We know they will be absolutely on it. It will be so special. So, really looking forward to the first 2 minutes and the Champions League anthem, and then his focus on the game.
Well, also tonight, important to point out, the former Arsenal player Thomas Partey very likely to play for Villarreal, despite the fact he's due in court here in London tomorrow, facing those very serious charges that date back to his time as an Arsenal player. 5 charges of alleged rape against 2 women, a further charge of alleged sexual assault against a 3rd woman. He was first in court earlier in the summer. He'll play almost certainly tonight for Villarreal and then be at Southwark Crown Court tomorrow for a plea hearing. He denies the charges. Now, to matters back on the pitch, a big night for Crystal Palace as well. They're dreaming of another trophy parade at the end of the season, having won the FA Cup in May. They begin their League Cup campaign with a huge South London derby against Championship side Millwall, who are out to cause a shock. Those teams met in the FA Cup last season in a really feisty affair. We're hoping it's all a little bit calmer tonight, although we hope very much for an exciting match as well. You can hear live commentary of that on BBC Radio London's digital platform. If you want this one, Tottenham Villarreal in the Champions League, it's live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Both matches kick off at 8 o'clock. Riz.
OK, Chris, thanks very much. Our sports reporter, Chris Legg there. Now, I want you to meet Molly, one of the finalists in our BBC Radio London Make a Difference Awards in the animal category, of course. Every week, together with her owner, Babs, she brings joy and comfort to patients at Croydon University Hospital, whether it's a friendly chat or gently resting her head on someone's lap. The visits can brighten up even the toughest of days. Ahead of the winners being announced next week, we've been to meet the much-loved duo.
Come on, Molly.
Does she come very often?
Once a week on Tuesday, but she particularly loves people's beds.
Yeah, we don't get any visitors in here.
Oh, shame.
Just me and a physiotherapist. You should come in more often.
Here's a good girl. Molly's 4, she's a cockapoo. I'm 85. We live locally to Croydon University Hospital, and we like to come to the hospital as volunteers.
She's really cute and soft.
For this job, she's ideal. I'm Babs, this is Molly, and we visit the patients at Croydon University Hospital. Should we go around here?
Is she fast?
She is if she's not on her lead. If we take her for a walk and she's on the field, she sees another dog. She tears up to it and wants to play with it. Isn't that lovely, Molly? I actually feel that I'm giving back something that the hospital gave to me when I was in for 6 weeks with a broken femur. And Molly comes too. We're part of the Pets as Therapy charity, and she has to be assessed by them before we can come into a hospital.
Very, very good.
She is. You love stroking them, don't you?
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
She's really made my day.
Yeah, good.
It was nice to see you, and you can both come visit me again.
Molly is so special because she's so well behaved and loves being in this environment to meet people. I think it helps them, it cheers them up. It's an awful long day to be in a ward.
Yeah, it's been really boring in here.
Oh, well, I hope Molly's brightened your day.
Yeah, she really has, thank you.
Molly is an amazing dog, and I can't believe that she has been shortlisted for a BBC Make a Difference Award. She loves being here, seeing the patients and bringing joy to their faces.
I think I might love Molly. Molly and Babs there. And of course, the winners of the Make a Difference Awards will be announced next week on BBC Radio London. And staying with those who make a difference, on BBC Radio London's breakfast show today, there was a very special guest. Yes, the bear, Pudsey, came to hand out this year's Children in Need Challenge. Wait until you hear it. It is a 3-legged 1,000-mile walk. So best of luck to those taking part. You can see Aaron and sports reporter Zavi there, including some other of our radio family. So we'll stay tuned for that. And with that, let's see if the weather can make us smile too. Kate is here, she certainly can. Nice to see some sunshine. Couldn't get my words out there.
Yes, a little bit. Now, some of the weather will make you happy, Riz. Not all of it, but some of it will. Good evening. Well, yes, today wasn't too bad at all. It was relatively warm as well. We had some decent spells of sunshine if you had the capacity or needed to get the washing out on the line. It was a pretty good day for that because it was dry. We had the sunshine and the temperature warm enough to dry it off. And there was still a bit of a breeze as well. Now, we had a little bit of patchy cloud, as you can see, rolling in, but nothing really produced a shower. Those clouds rolling through on the southwesterly. Now, as we head into the evening, we've still got a little bit of brightness, but already the cloud is moving. And you can see behind me that rain heading in our direction. It's not going to arrive just yet, so it's dry to start. But then post-midnight, the early hours of tomorrow morning, we'll see that heavier, more persistent rain start to move in. Now, it's still breezy overnight, noticeable, but not especially strong. The minimum temperature 12-13 Celsius, relatively mild. So rather damp start as we head into Wednesday morning. Still quite a bit of rain around. It will lift, or the heavier rain will lift through the morning. So becoming a little drier through the afternoon. The rain is just going to turn patchier, perhaps a little lighter, more drizzly, but it is going to stay cloudy. Again, the breeze is there, but it's not as noticeable as today. Temperatures tomorrow, similar though. It's not especially cold, 19 Celsius, despite that cloud and lack of sunshine. Now, as we head overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we've still got that cloud around, a few clearer spells, but you'll notice this front. It's waving around and doesn't really go anywhere very quickly. So it's going to hang on to the cloud and it's going to stay with us as we head into Thursday itself. Now, it should be a largely dry day on Thursday. The cloud thinning a little. It could even break. So we'll get some brighter spells, some sunny spells. Further south, the thicker cloud remains. The maximum temperature for Thursday is slowly starting to get a little bit warmer. Maximum of around 22 Celsius. Now, as we head overnight Thursday and into Friday, that cloud should start to disappear. We've got a ridge of high pressure building towards us, and that's bringing in warmer air from the continent. That front that was waving around before is moving further north. So at the moment, and this could change by the time we get to Friday, it is looking dry with plenty of sunshine. Actually, that warm air that's coming in from the continent means we're looking at temperatures getting up potentially into the mid-20s on Friday. 25, maybe even 26 Celsius. Short-lived, however, as we get into Saturday, there are some showers around. Could see the cloud break, so a few sunny spells. Temperatures at 21 Celsius, Riz.
So enjoy it. Thanks, Kate. A quick reminder of one of the main headlines today. President Trump will arrive in the UK this evening for his second state visit. He'll spend tomorrow at Windsor Castle, where a massive security operation is underway. And that's where we leave you. Plenty more on our website, including, if you missed it, inside the century-old building standing above 400,000 gold bars. And find out why there's going to be a treasure hunt on the Central Line. From all of us on the BBC London team, thanks very much for watching. And whatever you're doing, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye for now.